Hello, it's me, Recky, and welcome back to another military reaction. And this one has been suggested quite a few times. We're going to check out the B-1B LANCER, also known as America's most dangerous bomber on planet Earth. And by the looks of it, it looks completely insane. And I love doing this. If you do enjoy the content currently watching, don't forget to smack the like and, of course, hit that subscribe if you have any suggestions to anything related to the U.S. Army, etc. Let me know in the comments. Do not use any links. Just maybe copy-paste the name of the video, and I can just copy-paste and search for it. Links get blocked. The channel is, of course, U.S. military news. If you haven't checked out U.S. military news before, highly and strongly suggest that you do. Link for the video we're going to watch, and of course for the channel, is available right down there in the description. So go there and give them the support that they so much deserve. A big thank you to my channel members and my patrons. Thank you so much for the incredible support. Thank you. A big shout out to the Supreme Tier donators over by Patreon and, of course, channel membership. Thank you. Shout out to the ultimate supporters: Deja, Walt, Dwayne, Dana, Troy, Robert, Matt, Lon, Barbara, and Kevin. Best list ever. Thank you. Now, it's bomber time. About 10 minutes long. Unfortunately, too short. Holy crap.
B-1B LANCER. The bomber was built to nuke Russia.
Okay.
Earlier this year, the United States Air Force announced plans to retire the B-1B LANCER, also known as
the Bone?
The Bone, in favor of the new B-21 Raider stealth bomber.
Oh, my favorite.
The B-1B will remain in service for some time, but unlike its older cousin, the B-52 Stratofortress, its days are apparently numbered. The B-1B has served in a variety of capacities since the 1980s, demonstrating a remarkable degree of mission flexibility. Origins of the B-1B.
I understand. It drops a lot of bombs, but when I actually see it, it's completely overwhelming.
The B-1B evolved from the B-1A, which itself rose from the ashes of the B-70 Valkyrie. United States strategic bomber development stalled out in the 1960s as concerns about Soviet surface-to-air missile defenses forced the Air Force to reinvent its mission concept. Fast, high-flying bombers fell out of favor, while the B-52, which excelled in a low-altitude role, remained relevant beyond its expiration date. Nevertheless, the Air Force still wanted a supersonic.
I gotta tell you, just looking at this, if I want to touch it, I feel like it's super smooth, like a leathery feeling to it. I don't know if I'm completely bonkers, but I feel like it is.
Bomber. The Nixon administration was more flexible on this question than the Johnson administration, and studies began in 1969. The first prototype flew in 1974. As designed, the B-1A could exceed Mach 2 at high altitude, Mach 1.2 at low altitude. Even then, the B-1 remained controversial. United States intel suggested that Soviet radar was improving, making the low-altitude penetration mission riskier. At the same time, the development of short-range cruise missiles offered to make the B-52 a more formidable platform. The Carter administration canceled the B-1A in an effort to cut costs and make the defense budget more efficient. The Reagan administration reversed this verdict. Reagan was more interested in pushing the Soviet Union to its limits, and an analysis of the cost of the Soviet air defense network reinforced the idea that a new strategic bomber would put the Soviet Union at a cost disadvantage. The B-1A was reworked into the B-1B, which was slower, somewhat less expensive, and had a smaller radar cross-section. Rockwell built 100 B-1Bs for the Air Force, as well as 4 B-1A prototypes. 45 of the aircraft remain in service.
Wow. Holy crap, 100?
The B-1B's capabilities.
Here we go.
The B-1 has a blended wing body configuration with a variable sweep wing, 4 turbofan engines, triangular ride control fins, and cruciform tail. The wings can sweep from 15 degrees to 67.5 degrees, full forward to full sweep. Forward swept wing settings are used for takeoff, landings, and high-altitude economical cruise. Aft swept wing settings are used in high subsonic and supersonic flights. The B-1's variable sweep wings and thrust-to-weight ratio provide it with improved takeoff performance, allowing it to use shorter runways than previous bombers.
Wow, I'm completely baffled by the size and the look of this one.
The B-1B is no longer armed with nuclear weapons, but is capable of carrying the AGM-86B air-launched cruise missile.
Damn.
The aircraft has 3 internal weapon bays and 6 external hardpoints under the fuselage. The maximum internal weapons payload is 75,000 pounds, and the maximum external weapons payload is 59,000 pounds.
Holy.
The B-1B weapons payload includes 24 GBU-31 JDAM at one time, or a combination of 24 Mark 84 2,000-pound general-purpose bombs, 84 Mark 82 500-pound general-purpose bombs, 84 Mark 62 500-pound naval mines, 30 cluster munitions or 30 wind-corrected munitions dispenser, 24 AGM-158 Joint Air-to-Surface Standoff Missiles, JASSM, or 12 AGM-154 Joint Standoff Weapons.
Yeah, can they carry it? They can't carry it. Oh. Wait a minute, so they can carry all this in one go? But they can bomb the entire nation with just one freaking airplane then. Let me know if that's actually a thing. Maybe he's actually going to tell you or tell me, but I feel like that's incredible. The storage on this airplane, the B-1B Lancer, is the bone. Holy.
JSOW. The Lockheed Martin JASSM is a long-range precision standoff cruise missile with a digital jam-resistant global positioning system, inertial navigation guidance, and infrared seeker. JASSM weighs 2,250 pounds and has a range of over 370 kilometers and a dual-mode penetrator and blast fragmentation warhead. The B-1B successfully launched the first JASSM-ER missile, which has a range of 926 kilometers in June 2006.
What? I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back for a bit. This bad boy, AGM-154 JSOW, and I'm gonna check it out when he actually releases it one more time. It's complete news.
The B-1B successfully launched the first JASSM
Look at that little bastard go. Look at that.
ER missile, which has a range of 926 kilometers in June 2006.
We do not have this in Sweden. I'm telling you, dude, we do not have this in Sweden. I got goosebumps, man. That's weird. Stop it, Recky.
The B-1B Lancer is powered by 4 General Electric F101 GE102 augmented turbofans. Each is capable of a dry thrust of 17,390 pound-foot each and 30,780 pound-foot with afterburner. The B-1B has impressive specifications. It can make Mach 1.25, although in practice the speed is lower because of altitude and structural stability consideration. It can carry 125,000 pounds of ordnance with a combat radius of roughly 3,000 miles. In the first decades of its life, the B-1B was primarily a nuclear deterrence bomber. But with the end of the Cold War and the collapse of the Soviet Union, the Bone lost the nuclear mission. By treaty agreement with Russia, the main bomb bay in the B-1B was subdivided into 2 sections, and several other modifications were made. The process began in 1995 and was complete on all remaining aircraft by 2011. Along the way, various updates improved the ability of the B-1B to precision deliver conventional munitions, including...
I would be so freaking nervous if I was driving around with, like, things that cost a few $1,000,000, and they're doing it so casually. It's just incredible to watch. Of course, they have been trained and trained and trained and trained, but they look so casual while they do it, and it's actually giving me, like, a nice feeling to see that these guys are so freaking well trained that they can do this by heart and wake them up at 4 a.m. and punch them in the face, and they will just go on and do it, even though they're half awake.
Advanced targeting electronics and additional fixtures necessary to deliver a large number of bombs. The B-1B sat out the first Gulf War, a conflict which established a new paradigm for the use of air power. Tactical operations could now have strategic effect, a shift that blurred the long-standing distinction between fighters and bombers. The Bone saw its first combat during Operation Desert Fox in 1998, delivering unguided bombs against Iraqi targets. It's since been used in Kosovo, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria against both ISIS and Syrian government targets. During those conflicts, the B-1B has been used for precision bombing attacks, including for close air support. Because of its range, it can remain on station for longer than the fighter bombers than the U.S. Air Force, Marine Corps, and Navy employ, although not as long as many.
So I'm guessing that they can just use some kind of device, the radar, and just pinpoint, we want to bomb that. Like super precision bombing. And it's, again, as a Swede, I'm fairly happy that we are best buds with United States. Just to get that out there.
Drones. In the context of the history of air power theory and doctrine, there's a deep irony to the fact that the B-1B has found its greatest utility in attacks against lightly armed groups of guerrillas rather than against industrial complexes or nuclear installations. In April 2018, B-1Bs launched 19 JASSM cruise missiles against Syrian targets in retaliation for the Assad regime's alleged chemical weapons attacks. This was the first use of the AGM-158 JASSM, which adds to the already extended strike range of the B-1B. The stealth capabilities of the JASSM also give the Bone an extra punch against targets in defended airspace.
The JASSM, my new favorite one. Just saying.
The future of the B-1B. The B-1B is scheduled for retirement as the B-21 Raider comes into service.
Yeah.
Ironically, the Bone will head to the boneyard before the plane it was intended to replace, the B-52. The bombers will begin leaving service in 2025, and the last B-1B will likely leave service around 2036. Most of the airframes will be between 40 and 50 years old at retirement. Of course,
yes, I'm just checking out a picture that this B-1B Lancer, freaking beast of a bomber, said, yeah, you are not really the best of the best anymore, so we're just gonna retire you. Is that okay? And they bring in the other one, the Raider. Was it the Raider? I think he said that. And we all know that is a beast. Taking out something that is ultimate and bringing in something that is even more ultimate. I'm never going to get used to this.
Of course, delays in the B-21 program or changes in the strategic situations could force the Air Force to keep the B-1B around for longer, much as the B-52 has remained in service well beyond a variety of projected retirement dates. When the last B-1B retires, the United States will no longer have a dedicated bomber capable of supersonic flight, but stealth replaced speed as the key metric of a bomber's effectiveness some time ago.
Yeah. We got the radar. I mean, enemy's radar is, of course, improved in the matter of fact that you need to be hidden. We would go back like 30 years, 20, 25 years. Maybe the radar wasn't that good, so the B-1B Lancer, the Bone, actually was terrifying to even see or hear.
Conclusion. The B-1B was intended to deliver nuclear weapons to the Soviet Union. Fortunately, it never undertook that mission. Instead, it ended up hunting insurgents in Afghanistan and firing cruise missiles at nearly abandoned Syrian air bases. Indeed, at one point, both the B-1B and its Soviet counterpart, the Tu-160, were bombing insurgent targets in Syria. The success of the B-1B in missions like this is reflective of the flexibility of large, high-performance airframes. The B-52 continues to survive primarily because of this flexibility. It remains to be seen whether dedicated stealth platforms like the B-21 can succeed in so many different missions.
Wow. And this is like everyone else says, this is why I love doing this, because I will never you guys always tell me you gotta check this out, you gotta check this out, you gotta take a look at this. And I got so much suggestion, but keep it going, because I really, really enjoy checking out the equipment of the great United States, what they have. Because like I said, I always say this, I'm super happy that Sweden is considered to be a close friend of United States. Because if that shit comes here, yeah, B-1B Lancer. And it's getting replaced. Even though it's highly versatile, I think that's why it's actually survived compared to the Raider. I'm really hoping I'm saying that correctly. Highly enjoyable video, and a big thank you to US Military News for providing such good content. I really enjoy this channel. If you haven't checked it out, you find the link for the video and the link for the channel right down there in the description. Go there and give them the support that they so much deserve. And don't forget, if you did enjoy this, smack a like, of course, hit that subscribe, and let me know what you think. I read most of your comments. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. I'm Recky. You stay safe.